Hello and welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome if you're new. This is a place where I like to discuss self-help and spiritual concepts in a personal way. So basically my personal experience with these things, to try to break it down and make it more simple. Today, I wanted to talk about gaslighting. Gaslighting is becoming more and more of a common term that we hear. But what is it? How does it work? What do we do to defend ourselves against it? And how do we move past it? Basically, gaslighting is whenever someone tries to convince you that whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to say, is crazy somehow. Crazy is a term that gets thrown around all the time. And it doesn't have to be the word crazy, disturbed, anything that makes it seem like maybe you're not quite all there. First of all, I'm just going to validate everyone. Your experience is your experience. Even if in the end you find out maybe you were overreacting, or maybe you were, taking something too personally, that can happen sometimes. But when a person comes to you and starts labeling you as those things, that's when it becomes gaslighting. And open, loving communication is both parties being aware that they're unsure of what is going on, or in the moment you didn't quite understand and you just needed something explained a little bit further. Or sometimes it's just the other person being defensive because they don't understand what you're talking about, or they don't know. So when you're dealing with somebody like that who is going to stoop to personal attacks and trying to undermine the fact that you are a legit person with needs, what do, right? You can stand up for yourself, absolutely. You can let that person know, I'm not disturbed. You might not understand what I'm talking about, and if you would like to discuss it further, maybe be open about it. Sometimes certain people, we just have to cut them off and walk away from the situation, because sometimes people are just very not open to hearing what other people have to say. A lot of times this behavior comes out with people when you call them out on something that they've done and they don't recognize that behavior and they don't believe that they're doing what they're doing. That's just that person. There's not much you can really do besides have an open heart and be loving and understand that that person's going through something and they're not able to understand. What you don't want to happen is, don't take those words into heart. Don't take those words personally. There's a level of attachment sometimes with the people we're discussing that say this to us, and that's where it can really get hurtful. But nobody is truly crazy unless you are diagnosed psychosis and, needing a lot of medical attention and care. The normal average person is not crazy. We're not. And it's just an unfortunate tactic that people use. And it can really dive deep into somebody. I was very open to gaslighting back when I was in a very abusive relationship. I believed that I might be crazy. I believed I might be making things up. I believed I was open to these suggestions, and it rocked my world. It made it very unsafe. I wasn't sure what I was doing, what I could say, what I couldn't say. It was a very unstable environment, and it caused a lot of personal struggle and issues, as you can imagine, if you don't think that you're sane. So I personally went to therapy, and that was honestly what set me free with this person. Is we ended up in therapy, and it just came to light, all of the tactics that this person was using. And it was the first time that I was truly validated and told by the therapist that I was behaving correctly. And I was behaving out of love and out of friendship and out of trying to find solutions and defending myself, and saying that it wasn't okay that you're calling me names and you're calling me crazy and you're calling me things, because I'm definitely not. I'm very intelligent, I'm very smart, I'm very open, I'm very kind, I'm very loving. I knew where I was coming from, or I thought I did, and I was a little bit confused. After a while, you'll be able to really find yourself and find that solid foundation so that no one else can rock it, right? No one else can convince you or try to convince you that you're anything other than a person who is trying and doing the right thing. Now, you are the person who knows if you're doing the right thing or not, and if you're acting out of kindness and out of love, and that's very important. If you are being, unreasonable or things like that, then that's something that you might have to work on. But stooping to that level of communication where it becomes personal attacks on your sanity, it's one of the lowest that people can go and do. And it just stems from that person. And you just have to do the work. You have to do the work to know who you are and to be able to dismiss that person and to be able to know that you are a great person. You're great. You're perfect. You're fine. Like, we all have stuff to work on, but we're not crazy. We're all here learning how to be our best selves. And when someone isn't willing or wanting to be a part of that, then they end up stooping to those tactics. It can be very, very, very hurtful, and it can be really hard when someone you care about starts to say those things to you. And if that's the case, you just have to recognize it for what it is, and either that person is open to listening to you or they're not. And you can't sit around and wait and hope that one day they will be open. You have to make your decisions based on what's happening right now. So I hope that helps a little bit in understanding a little bit about gaslighting. Some examples of gaslighting is basically just telling someone how you feel about something and them calling you crazy. You telling them how you're experiencing something, or you tell them that, hey, you said this and I don't like that you said this and it's hurtful, and they don't want to accept it, basically, so they call you crazy. And you have to stick to who you are.